Welcome back to the channel. Before we do some more sharpening, I found another knife that I keep in my truck. It's a Gerber fixed blade. It comes in handy. It's nothing super special, but it's got a nice grip, and it's in need of some cleaning. So you can see that it's pretty dirty. I don't think I've ever sharpened this in the last 10 years. It's probably just got the factory edge on it. I use it for like opening packages or something in my truck. But so it's pretty dirty, but we'll get it cleaned up. And to do that, we're gonna move the sheath, and we're gonna use a little scrub brush, like a little toothbrush for cleaning, like a gun cleaning kit is where you find these, and then a little bit of CLP. So this CLP is actually super good at removing or cleaning guns, but it also works super well on all different types of metals and metals with finishes. So it's safe to put on something that has a finish on it. We'll add just a couple drops, and then we're gonna start scrubbing it. Actually, we'll add a little bit more so we can clean the whole thing. And CLP works really well at removing residue. Obviously this step is better done before you start sharpening. That way you keep your stones clean as well. One point to mention, I don't use this knife in my kitchen or for cooking or eating, but CLP is not food safe. It's meant for cleaning guns, which we don't eat off of. So again, not food safe, the CLP. There are different products out there that you can get that are totally food safe, but for this knife I'm going to use CLP. If you are wondering what products are food safe, I'll put some in the description below. Food safe knife cleaning solutions. And again, you don't want to use like a brass or steel brush. I guess you could use like the blue bristles, which are even stiffer than the white bristles, but let the CLP or whatever solvent you're using, could be even water, but let that do the work, and use a nice soft bristle brush so that you, for the mechanical action, the mechanical cleaning, that way you don't scratch up your finish, the finish on your knife. So, and you do want to include the blade in your cleaning. There's adhesive that gets on that as well, so This is just gonna be a quick short video here on doing a little knife maintenance. Since this is a fixed blade, it has no moving parts. But what I want to do, I'm going to move the sheath out of the way here. We'll set the brush down. We'll take a paper towel and we'll wipe this off. We'll wipe the CLP off. Obviously, be careful while you're doing this so you don't cut yourself. Okay. And then one last step I like to do. I still got some down here. To take care of the metal. To take care of your metal is put a light coat of oil on. So I've got some KPL and I'll show these off here. I've got KPL heavy. Let's see if we can, there we go. Got KPL heavy, KPL original, and KPL ultralight here. So the three of these blank. So I've got KPL oil that I want to put on. Since this is a fixed blade, I'm gonna go ahead and use the KPL heavy. I could very well use also KPL original, but most likely I wouldn't use the ultralight KPL. Ultralight is used more on moving parts, so I use this on my automatic Claymore for the spring action down in here, down in the moving parts, to keep it snappy. That's where the ultralight goes. You could use original, but you do want to use as thin of an oil. And this is a 5 weight. The ultralight is a 5 weight. The original is a 15 weight oil. And then the heavy is a 75 weight oil. So we're gonna use the KPL heavy, so a 75 watt oil. When you take the child-proof cap off, it reminds me of taking a cap off of nail polish. It's got a needle tip, or like a blunt end, and you can, the bottle's a little bit squeezy, so you can get it out, but and it's in like a red, kind of a reddish color. And I'm gonna use a different brush, so I've got a different brush that I'm gonna use for the oil, a separate brush here. One of them is, I keep this brush for the oil, and this other brush I keep for the CLP. So CLP brush and KPL brush. So we will take that oil, spread it around. It's got a nice smell to it also. It smells like any unlike any other oil I've smelled before. And a little bit goes a long way. But I'm gonna do in the knurling. I'm gonna get the spine. I'll flip it over. Careful when you do use this because it has a metal tip on it. That metal tip could potentially scratch your finish if you are touching the two metals together in an aggressive manner. There we go. I'm confident we've gotten all of the blade. Now, this is a full tang blade, and that means that the metal that makes up this knife is one piece and goes solidly all the way through to the handle, or through the handle. So you can see this piece of metal here. I'm gonna just take this brush and wipe it gently over all the metal that's exposed. Just to protect that and clean that piece of metal off. A full tang knife is obviously much stronger. It's much more strong than, say, a knife without a tang or a half tang even, because the blade could obviously snap where the tang ends. So if all you had was this set of screws holding a piece of metal missing, say, right here, and the rest of this piece, bottom piece, was just handle, you can see how that drastic force to the blade could snap it and break off. So full tang blades are commonly found in fixed blades. Obviously in a knife like this Benchmade Claymore automatic, this is not going to be as strong because it doesn't have that full tang. It's empty looking down the middle. So we're at the mercy of the strength of the handle, the mechanism that holds in the blade, and these screws here. So all right, so we have this knife nice and clean, and it'll be time for sharpening. That'll be my next video. We're gonna do some sharpening of this knife, but this is how I would store it. I'd wipe off the excess oil, and then I would store it back in the sheath. So appreciate you watching. Hopefully you learned a little something, or you got something that you already knew reiterated to build your confidence up in your base of knowledge. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. And we'll have another video coming out very shortly. We'll see you next time.